See, well, it is no secret that former Progressive Conservative leadership candidate David Orchard was opposed to the merger of his party and the Canadian Alliance. Today he called a news conference to accuse the new Conservative Party of unethical and unlawful behavior. And he announced that he is launching a lawsuit against the new party. For more on all of this, look who's with me, David Orchard. Hello, David Orchard. Nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
Now, you say they have your money and you want it back. Just explain, how did they get your money in the first place?
Well, when I ran for the leadership of the Progressive Conservative Party, each candidate had to post a $45,000 deposit with the party. $15,000 of that was refundable if you didn't break the rules, if you didn't smash up any hotel rooms or anything along the way. They have refused to return my $15,000, even though I didn't break any rules and I didn't break any hotel rooms up. That's one part of it. Another part is people who donated to my campaign. $55,000 of donations to the David Orchard campaign are not being returned. What we had to do is, if you wrote me a check for $100, for example, the David Orchard campaign, I had to send it to the head office. They deposited the check, and then the rules said they had to return that money to the candidate within 48 hours. And they would issue a tax credit to you for $100. So we had to submit all of those checks to the head office, even though they're made to our campaign, and the head office had to return them to us in 48 hours and issue the tax credit to the people who made the donations. They're holding all that money. It hasn't been 48 hours, it's been 10 weeks, and the party is refusing to return the $55,000 in donations from Canadians across Canada who donated in good faith to my campaign. This is my money. They're not. My understanding is the party hasn't even issued them a tax credit, and they haven't given me back that money. So it's $70,000 of my money that they're holding at the same time as they're talking about a new ethics and accountability and accusing the Liberals of lack of both of those. Well, this new party is using money that doesn't belong to it. It belongs to me.
So, do you know, with the other candidates in the race, say Jim Prentice, say Peter MacKay, say Scott Bryson, did they get their money back?
That's a good question, and my understanding is yes, they have. In fact, I was told that even one of the other candidates that went to a different political party was dealt with fairly, got his money back, and was all paid up by the end of December. I haven't gone to any other party, but they've refused to give me back my money.
And when you ask for the money, what do they say?
They have a whole series of excuses. They've admitted, I talked to the previous treasurer of the Progressive Conservative Party, Brian Mitchell, who now sits on the board of the interim council. He kept assuring me that, well, it's going to be looked after, he's going to look into it. Then I abruptly received an email saying there's nothing more he could do about it. The chief financial officer of the party acknowledged that all of our paperwork has been done, that they've got the money, and then abruptly sent us an email saying that it's been referred to their legal counsel and she's not going to talk to us about it anymore. So it's been weeks of asking. I began asking in October for the return of my $15,000 deposit, and it's been stonewalling all the way along.
So now you're saying they have to talk to me in court about this, and
no,
you filed a lawsuit against them.
We filed a lawsuit claiming the return of my monies and also claiming damages for the way that they're treating me. It's clearly, seems to me, is there a vendetta going on against David Orchard, or is the party broke, or is it going to be broke? Why is it using my money? Is it using my money to run these new ads that we heard about this morning? These are donations given for a bona fide legal purpose, and if political parties aren't going to run themselves correctly, perhaps we have to have these leadership races run under the Canada Elections Act so that we can have the Auditor General oversee these people too, because they're clearly just acting as a law unto themselves.
So, just so I understand, it's your understanding that all the other candidates were treated one way and you've been treated a different way?
That's my understanding, but I haven't spoken to all of them.
All right. And so, in your lawsuit, I assume that you would want them as witnesses to come, and you will then hope your lawyers or instruct your lawyers to issue subpoenas to compel Mr. MacKay and others to come and testify as to how they were treated and how their money was treated.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I guess the lawyers will have to look after all that, but maybe they can get some good ideas from you on how to handle that. But we would like to know exactly how those other candidates were treated. Yes, how was Mr. MacKay treated, for example? I don't think he's having to beg to get his money back.
So, you think it's because you opposed first you and MacKay agreed this wouldn't happen, and then it did happen, and you were pretty vocal about it, and you've also got another lawsuit going to try and undo it all. So do you think that is why you're not getting treatment that you think others have received?
I don't know. You would have to ask the other side that. But this is not a matter of whether they like David Orchard or whether the Canadian Alliance likes David Orchard or these officials like David Orchard. They have legal responsibilities to the people who donated. That's the way our system is set up under laws passed by our Parliament, that people can make donations to the candidates of their choice and get tax credits. They can't start diverting that money off to whatever purposes because we don't like this candidate or that candidate. They are not above the law, even though they're behaving that way. This new party certainly is.
But weren't you meant to get the money as soon as it was donated?
We had a 48-hour turnaround.
So someone gave you money for your campaign. Yeah. You were meant to be able to spend it within 48 hours.
Yes. That's exactly right.
So you're saying that your campaign was underfinanced as well because they didn't send the money back to you?
Of course, it's been damaged. I've got bills to pay off, but in order for you to get your tax credit, if you gave me a donation, we had to send it through head office. Right. But they promised in return for that they would return it to us within 48 hours.
So so you just ran your campaign on credit, basically, and now you need the money to pay off and you're paying interest on the money?
You're paying interest on the money, yes. They returned the money up till December. Like the donations that I got in May, June, July, they came back. But it was all the donations after the lawsuit. All the donations
and after the party became a new party.
And now those are the ones that are refusing to return.
Okay, well that makes it clear, so I understand where you're going. Going to run the next election briefly?
For what party, Don?
Well, you can run as an independent.
Yes, but independents don't have a very good track record in Canada, do they?
All right, David, if you have no more time. David Orchard, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.